Hello, Andreas. Hi, how are you?
Hello. Thanks. I'm fine. And how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much. First of all, thanks for accepting our invite to be our on our podcast. Let's talk about data. It is always pleasure to have people from different domains, from different regions, and it's pleasure to listen to them, their experiences, and all those people who are doing implementation in different customers. So it is your first time on our podcast. We would love to hear about you. Tell us about yourself, how your journey started, and how you end up coming into data.
Yes, so thank you, Mustafa, for inviting me to your podcast. So I'm a long-term follower of your sessions. And so I'm very proud that you invited me. So I'm in data for now nearly 10 days. So I have started my experience from classical business intelligence. So I came with Microsoft Power BI. So this was my first project. Yes, it was pretty new. So I got to know the Microsoft platform from the start when it was growing with on-premise services and the stuff. And then I realized that business intelligence in terms of front end creation, so report creation, it's nice, but there are more challenges in the back end. So I stepped into data warehousing. And there I also tried to deep dive. So I familiarized myself with data vault modeling, and also the age of cloud computing and lake houses came. So new architectural approaches came. It was very interesting for me in the shift. And yeah, so that's my experience, and also then with changing to Bosch, I realized that not only the technology is important to do a good architecture, even more you need governance. So governance, especially regarding role models and responsibility and alignment with different people. And now with then the age of data mesh came. So we were talking about a lot of distributed architecture and distributed responsibilities. And so we've seen the development of data products.
Mhm.
And yeah, so the topics are developing. You can see on the one hand side, we have those technology topics which are moving on all the time. So the technologies are improving more and more, also getting in a clear direction with open data formats, cloud computing, and and on the other side, we see much more challenges in organizing all the stuff. Huh? So in collaboration, in governance, in structure, we have more risks. Huh? So we with our coming laws about data protection, new challenges came. And so this topic is growing. It's getting broader, and that makes it very interesting for me.
Awesome, awesome. It's pleasure to hear from someone who has really started from very basic and goes towards, yeah, for everyone. I think when you said you have started from Power BI, which is a I think that's a ideal place to start. Actually, I started my career as a DBA, very brief uh, timeline for a DBA, and then I went into a ETL side. Then I was now we call it data engineering nowadays. Previously,
Yes.
we used to call it ETL developer. So I spent my good time in ETL development for 10 to 12 years. And then I did data modeling. I did all those things, small here and there. And then I went into project management. And now I'm in solution architecture. But I've gone through this whole journey when you say that
Yes.
databases, BI, data warehousing, data lake house, then data mesh is here, all those things. So I think this discussion is going to be great. And as I was saying that people who has worked on front end, actually, front end are the people who really understand what business want, how business want to see data. Because front end is all about data storytelling, and it is
Yes.
an art actually, that how you show KPIs, on front end. So I think it will be a great discussion. About today's topic is metadata. So you have
Yes.
selected metadata. So so actually, before we jump into it, I put a quote on LinkedIn like maybe 5, 6 years back, and I said that if you have a proper metadata in your organizations, you can end up reducing 80% of your power of your BI reporting. That's what my vision was. And now I think
Mhm.
people are coming towards it that, yeah, if you have a good metadata. So before we jump into very criticalities, as you mentioned, you are coming from Power BI, which is BI, you go into data warehousing, blah, 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 blah. Now you turn towards metadata. So how this shift happened actually?
I realized, as you said, in data analytics. So we are, if we are in the field of data, we have to think about data analytics, because without any
Yeah.
analytics or LLM, data is useless. Yeah? So in the end, we all the time have a user at the end of the distribution line. So and the user, he needs to understand the data, yes, and over all ages of BI or all analytics solutions, we have a challenge in the communication between technical teams and business stakeholders. Huh? So we have got the technical artifacts, and on the other side, we've got the business world with their terms and definitions. Huh? And and often people from the business, they don't understand how to interpret the data. Huh? So what does it mean? So where does the data come from? Huh? So what's the meaning of this field? Yeah? So there are different namings. We've got synonyms or same names for different artifacts. Huh? So
Correct.
we have to define a common language, and then also show transparency to our user. Only then we can provide a real value. And that's why I realized that we have to invest more in metadata.
Actually, that's good, right? Because we will go towards AI, but the thing is, it's a very clear direction into global market right now that
Yes.
everybody is moving towards metadata with respect of AI, and along with metadata, they are also going back to the basics of data modeling. That data modeling is also important. So tell us about your journey when you jump into metadata. You started working on technical metadata or business metadata or operational metadata, how you started?
So or I especially focus more on, let's say, business metadata and not so much on technical metadata, because the technical metadata, that's easy to handle. Huh? So there
Mm,
are enough technologies where you can scan your tables and import the metadata from your systems, and also create automatically a kind of technical data lineage. But that's not a challenge. Huh? So the
mm,
challenge is more in the one hand side to generate a common understanding. That's more kind of creating a business glossary,
mm.
and on the other side, it's the alignment between your physical data and the business processes. Yeah?
Mm.
Because only if you align your data to the business processes and you can map them, then you can really bring a value to the business. Yeah? Because it's not, they should not be separated rules. We have to create a holistic view, which includes the data, the processes, and the people. And when I mean people, then I mean their understanding. Yes.
Yeah, so actually
And
that,
so
yeah, please go ahead.
yeah, so we focus on the one hand side on this common understanding. That means a kind of terminology management, and the other thing, what is very important, these are semantic models. So you are coming from a traditional database management, and you know about how to model your relational models in a database and all the stuff. But people or business people, they are not thinking in physical tables, huh? So we have to think in more on a conceptual level, huh? We have to define our business objects and then define a conceptual model which is aligned with the business, and not how it is implemented by some technical experts in any application. So we have to define a model which is independent from our platforms, because the platforms are changing every couple of years. The business understanding and the business model and the business data model, this will stay the same for the business.
Actually, that is what my next question was, and let me rephrase it so you can go a little bit further into it. When a traditional user understand about business metadata, they normally think, as you mentioned, there is a there is a field as start date. So if
Yes.
that start date is in a table, that start date can be a start date of the transaction. That start date can be a start date of the job start date. That start
Mm.
date can be any kind of start date. Until unless you don't tag business metadata to that column, you won't understand what it is. Normally, people think like this, but
Yes.
enlighten us, like when you I'm happy you mentioned business modeling. So we have business modeling, like we have information modeling as well, and which includes taxonomies and ontologies and metagraphs. Are you saying that all those, because those are part of data modeling, but those are
Yes.
business modeling and information modeling, are those also part of the business metadata?
Yes, indeed we have to align our application models. So what you now said about start date and all the stuff, that's on the let's on the implementation level. So on the application level, we have to align this metadata with our common business metadata. So
Hmm.
we have different flight levels of metadata. So we've got the let's say the layer of the application, and above this layer we have our business layer. There we define our common concepts, which are aligned over all business processes. Huh?
Hmm.
And this is important to get an integrated view on different things. So let me step back one experience many years ago. So in my company, there were three people creating reports for the management regarding the same topic. Huh? And in all the reports were based on the same data, but the results were different, huh? Because they had a different understanding of the metadata, what the fields were meaning. So, and then our management was sitting there with three reports providing different views, but in the end they did not stick together. So that shows that we need an upper layer which integrates all the different applications.
Mm-hmm. So now, as you mentioned, that business normally do not know, and when you start explaining business, normally technical people say, "Hey, it's the same source system, same tables." But end of the day, when you go towards KPIs, each column mean different thing, right? And based on
Yes.
the different context, you end up creating multiple reports for business. So, which kind of challenges? We all know that uh, business do not care about metadata. Business do not care about governance, right? Business
Mm.
only cares, give me a dashboard, whatever I need, just show me. But at back end, you have to create the whole data management, data governance, which include business metadata and all other type of metadata. So which kind of challenges you face when you tell them, hey, we really need to invest in metadata and this is what metadata is?
Yeah, so to be honest and to say it very directly, managing metadata, that's an annoying job which no one wants to do. That's you say, oh, I'll do it another time, or can somebody else do it? So we need it, but probably somebody else will do it. So the thing is that you need to get the awareness of the business that this is important, and you get this commitment from the business when you talk about data quality. As you said, they want to have their reports, but they also want to have correct numbers.
Hmm.
And so correct numbers does not only mean that they are, let's say, on a technical way correct, so that there are no data missing from data streaming or anything like this. That also means that the data is correct in a semantic way. Huh?
Hmm.
That's even worse if you have a semantic mistake in modeling or calculation or anything like this. And as I told, if the business realizes that different people are working on the same topic, and then they have a different understanding of the same things, and so you don't know which report you have to trust. Yeah,
Hmm.
so trust in data, and you can only create trust in data if you understand the data, and to understand the data, you need this metadata. Yeah,
Hmm.
and if you can develop the business in this way, that they understand that data quality is more than there's no gap in the data delivery. It's also about data understanding. Then you get their awareness and their commitment to invest capacity in doing metadata management.
Yeah, putting some light onto, as you mentioned, that nobody want to manage metadata, nobody want to work on metadata,
Yes.
right? Right. Actually, as I mentioned that I was a developer for most of my career. Used to love writing SQL queries. I still love writing
Mm.
SQL queries, but my role is not that anymore. Then and I did data modeling as well. So, but when ETL developer level, execution level do data modeling, they normally end up doing data modeling at logical level, logical model, which is
Mm.
3NF or star schema or
Yes.
data vault and XYZ, right? They normally don't do data modeling at a information modeling level or business modeling level. So where I'm coming is that I lost my interest into modeling because I always used to do very technical data modeling, which is 3NF and star schema.
Yes.
But the
Mm.
moment recently I start creating a training deck on data modeling, I end up came to know that there are around 33 plus data modeling techniques which include information and business. So the moment I
Yes.
go towards business and information data modeling, actually my love towards data really increased, because if you end up
Mm.
creating FCOIM modeling technique, if you end up
Mm.
creating taxonomies and ontologies, which will really give you the idea how data travels, right?
Yes.
So people, I think they underestimate this data modeling technique, or we can call it slash information modeling, until unless
Yes.
we don't show them onto a graph. Hey, this customer connect to a product, and customer can sell a product and buy a product and use a product at XYZ. I think if that flavors goes to the people, I think they will start loving it. Have you experienced this? That people who has worked on information modeling kind of stuff like FCOIM I'm referring,
Yes.
did their interest come back, or you still see challenges?
Yes. So on the one hand side, I see especially when you start modeling business ontologies
Hmm.
and then implement them, for example, within a knowledge graph. Yeah? And the people they can start navigating through the knowledge graph. Yeah?
Yeah,
They get fascinated
yeah.
about this connection of knowledge, and how they can link through. It's like you are on Wikipedia, and then you click there, and then you click there, and then you click there, and you do this within your business knowledge, and that's really fascinating. And then you really can catch the people. So that's That's the good thing. On the other hand side, I see it especially. I'm working at Bosch, a large company, and we have many different business units, and we've got different views on the things, and there it is sometimes difficult to get a common alignment on glossaries, for example. Now, so how you define a term. Huh? So
Hmm.
you've got different perspectives. For example, if you think about the term product for an engineer is another has another semantics for as the product from someone in sales or someone in marketing. Huh?
Hmm.
So you have to find a way how every interpretation is provided. Huh? And on the other side, you need to align the different kind of interpretations. So that's the challenge.
Yeah, so now let's come towards the more advanced discussions on metadata, right? Let's bring AI into this discussion. Everybody is talking about that AI is a failure. AI cannot process data. They call about, I think the key thing they call about is data quality. So when
Mhm.
I talk about data, people think about data quality as data itself is wrong, right?
Yes,
Like yeah, there are multiple types of data quality. Data is not into the same format, interoperability issue, golden record issues. Yes, those are
yes,
data quality issues. But I think in the era of AI, those are very minor data quality issues. I think bigger data quality issue is this context is missing. And when we
yes,
talk about context is missing, that context can only come from metadata, right? So what
yes.
is the value you see of metadata into AI era?
Yes, Mustafa, you're fully right. Huh? So, even with the beginning of especially Gen AI, yeah, we realized there's this problem of hallucination. Huh?
Yeah.
And this comes from kind of missing information, which will guide the large language model. And now, when it comes to your LLM within your business, this might be trained basically on common world knowledge, but
Hmm.
the challenge is that your business, especially, is slightly different. Huh? So every business has its own processes and its
Yeah.
own architecture and its own definitions. And this, let's say, general LLM cannot know it. So you have the companies, they started to train the models with their own business data. Of course, this is needed, but what it's missing to train the model with the business knowledge, and
Hmm.
that's more important. That's even as important as training it with business data, and to train it with business knowledge. There you can of course use your business processes, but when it comes to the data, as I mentioned before, you have to link the business processes to your data, and therefore you need this different types of metadata. Yeah? So you need to provide a glossary and to define all the terms. You need to define the taxonomies and link them to the glossary. And that the most important thing is the ontologies. Yeah? So if you provide your LLM the metadata in terms of ontology, the result will be much more precise than if you just train it with your data.
Yeah. So now let's go towards so previously we had this centralized approach where we used
Yes.
to have enterprise data warehousing. We used to
Mhm.
create one big warehouse in 2 years, and we had our data governance practice at back end, and we had a centralized metadata repository. We used to call it
Yes.
catalog, right? Catalog have business
Mhm.
metadata attached, connect tag with the technical metadata XYZ. We had that. We had everything centralized. although it is so simple and easy to manage one place, but we were unable to do that for decades, right?
Yes.
Now, federated approach comes in. Federated approach comes in with agentic AI, where we are seeing shift towards small data products. Last time we
Yes.
used to serve 10 business requirement into 10 or maybe 100 business requirement into one warehouse. Now there'll be small data products. So how do you
Yes.
see how how you cope up this challenge that you have to manage many metadata repositories or many metadata catalogs? How do you see that challenge?
So first of all, when you talk about data products, we see it as a very important step to define data common data products
Hmm.
and also to have the ownership for the products and to provide them on our marketplace. But we also say that a data product needs metadata, and that's not only a description. So we have also those technical metadata, and very important, as I mentioned, the semantical metadata and the semantic data model. So in my personal view, you cannot provide a data product without a semantic data model because the people will not understand it. And on the other hand, if you have only a semantic data model without a data product, your semantic data model will not provide any value. Yeah, so it's a coexistence of the semantic data model and the data product. They both need each other. Semantic model without data product is useless. Data product without semantic model is also useless. Only if you combine those two elements, yeah, then you can provide real value to your business. And coming to your second question, different metadata platforms. So yes, it is a challenge because we cannot say if you think about Bosch with its distributed systems all over the world. Yes, you cannot say, oh, let's put in all metadata in this data catalog and publish all the things in this marketplace.
Hmm.
That's an illusion. Yeah, so you will never get it in a decade of years. Yeah, so we have distributed systems. So, but that's not a problem. Huh? So as long as you have the metadata in those systems, that's important. And then if you have this, then you can link those metadata platforms to each other and then provide an upper layer. It's like a phone index, yeah, where you can find this metadata in this catalog or this metadata in that catalog. Huh? If it's provided in on Purview or on your sub data platform or IBM solution, that doesn't matter. Huh? As long as it is provided.
Hmm.
And in all modern metadata platforms, they provide APIs. And within those APIs, you can interconnect those different platforms and ensure that the metadata is available for coexistency.
Actually, I have a name for you. We call it metadata. So,
Yeah, yes, yes.
yeah, so you have metadata, different metadata repositories sitting there. Then you have a centralized metadata which tell you this repository have this repository have this repository have this. So end of the
Yes,
day, I think that debate that centralized approach will go away. I was always, rather than calling centralized, I would say enterprise repositories will go away. So
yes,
when people talk about federated approach, people say that hundreds of separate data products will be created. But I am always a fan of that there will always be a centralized or enterprise small repository sitting somewhere who's
yes,
managing everything, right? You
yes,
cannot have everything sitting everywhere and you do not have one centralized or enterprise, something or the other, you name it, whatever. But it has to be there, right? Like you have data products. Yes, you don't need one centralized team. Every data product can have their own engineering team, can have its own metadata team, can it have its own support team. But end of the day,
Mhm. Yes.
there'll be enterprise one team which is guiding them, which is giving
Yeah.
them guardrails, standards and policies, and governing them. Okay, now governance. How difficult you think governance has become of course metadata. Let's bring all kind of metadata, right?
Mhm.
Which is business, technical, and operational metadata for each data product. How governance, what has the impact been on governance practice?
So when it comes to governance, so there are some things like policies. Huh? So for example, I see not so many good platforms where you can manage policies and also link them physically to your data products. That's one challenge. When we talk about the ownership or stewardship of data, then we have to invest in data literacy. So we as
Hmm.
data specialists, we cannot provide the metadata because we don't have all the specialized business knowledge. So we have to closely work together with our business. We have to train them not only how to use any data platform like or data catalog, data marketplace, or something like this. We have to train them to in data understanding, yeah, in understanding how to handle this data and how to make sure that they provide the enough metadata and also in ensuring data quality. Yeah? So it is an illusion to say we want to reach 100% data quality. So that's a waste of time. So we have to invest data in data quality where we need data quality. Yeah. So we need to prioritize where we need high priority data, and there the data stewards need to put their eye on, and we also have to respect that we cannot provide 100 perfect data in each corner. Yeah? So to summarize it, the challenge is to get the data stewards from the business onboarded and to train them, and not only in a technical way, also in a way that they understand the concepts and also the collaboration with all other data stewards and how the different domains are connected.
Yeah, actually, that was my next question, which let me re-elaborate it as well. That when we talk about federated approach, we talk about data mesh, all these are federated approaches, right? We say that as we are giving autonomy to business, we allow business to have their own teams, right? Now, when
Mhm.
we talk about business metadata in centralized world, previously that we had one data governance team, we had data stewards, either sitting in business, but we had internal functional consultant. We used to call them business analyst, functional consultant, whatever. We had a in-house centralized team managing that. Now, people say as we are giving autonomy to the businesses, we should pass on this metadata to the business team to create and to maintain. When I say
Yes.
maintain, fine. When I say create, so are we expecting them to train themselves on FCUIM, which is information modeling or taxonomies and ontology? You're expecting them to create, or you are expecting functional consultants from them and internally you create information modeling? What practice do you think will work out?
So I think in the end you cannot so the people from the business they have to run their business. So
Mhm.
you cannot expect
Agree on
they
that.
become a data experts. And
Absolutely
so
agree.
they have to do their business, and they are willing to spend a certain amount of time in contribution to maintaining metadata, but they should not become data experts, because then their knowledge is missing on the business side. Yeah, so we have established a concept where we collaborate with the business. So we a system. We have let's say technical supporters and moderators, which conduct workshops together with the business, and which do reviews, and also help in collaboration with other data domains. And so it's a kind of co-creation. So on let's say on the content wise, we've got a responsibility on the business side, and on let's say implementing side, so creating the ontologies, or maintaining it, and making sure that that is integrated within our ontology stack, on our hierarchy, and then also aligned with these other domains. That's more the topic of the IT experts. Huh? So it's a collaboration, and sometimes we have more autonomy of the business, because they are more affiliate with IT, and sometimes they need more support, because they are not so close to work with data technologies.
Yeah, actually, I agree with you. I think the biggest disconnect what happened is last time when we used to create business metadata, business modeling, or we used to create ontologies and taxonomies, it was always kept by IT. We use
Yes,
it to create conceptual data modeling or logical data modeling or physical data modeling. Then we end up creating Power BI, and we never show this to business. I think that has
yes,
to change. When you
yeah,
listen a paragraph of requirement from business, we or whoever is creating it should create like information modeling and show it to business. My personal experience is if you end up showing business processes or business metadata in shape of information modeling or taxonomy ontology onto a screen to the business, I'm telling you, business will be very happy because they
yes, yes,
also do not know, because they are doing, as you correctly mentioned, they are doing daily jobs. They can't visualize because they don't have time. So I think this is
yes.
a message for people as well, and you can comment on it. Show these information modeling to business. What do you think?
Yeah, that's true. Yes. So very often this knowledge, it's not it's only implicit knowledge, which people know, but they haven't expressed until now. Yeah. And now, if you come to the stage where you start expressing this knowledge, you also come into kind of knowledge enrichment, because you start there are communications within those business experts, huh? And they realize sometimes that they've got slightly different views on the same thing, yeah? And so it is growing, yes. And as they start to rethink again of their business, I often realize that they also start to think about how to optimize things. Huh? So they question themselves, or their own way of working, and the different fields. That's very interesting.
Yeah. So we have a time check of 10-15 minutes. So let's move towards like risks,
Mhm.
right? Risk and drawbacks of having metadata. Because people do not, you know, sometimes they, "Hey, why should we have a separate cost or budget for metadata?" Can you
Mhm.
elaborate, like if you do not end up spending proper, which I think there's a term called cost of inaction. What are
Mhm.
the cost of inaction if you don't use or maintain metadata?
You will lose your knowledge, huh? So you lose transparency, and
Transparency, yeah.
you lose in value of your data, huh? Because data without semantics, or data without meaning, it's useless. Yeah. So you might have terabytes of data, but without a meaning, it's useless. Huh? And in this highly automated world, where we are more and more automating, and now within the coming age of agentic AI, yeah,
Yeah.
we need this information. Yeah? And if you step back, and if you don't provide this metadata, you will not be on this digital road. Yes.
Yeah, I think my input in this one is which normally people say, hey, if we don't do it on the fly, your code can still do it. I think to answer to them, yes, on the fly you can do everything. But once you start doing everything on the fly, first of all, you don't maintain the history. Second, your
Yes.
processing power will be 10 times more. If you don't
Yes.
have metadata, then you go and search every time, you do a profiling, you do where clause, group by, all those things. And yes, you can do it on the fly, but the thing is, next time you again have to do it. After
Yes.
that, you again have
And
to do it. Every time you have to redo it again.
the problem is you get an inconsistency. Yeah?
Inconsistency.
So if you do it only on an application level, then you get an inconsistency of your metadata. And then if you want to put this all together, then you end up in let's say semantic issues. Huh?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, we have only 10 odd minutes. So tell us about the tools. What good tools are in the market? If you can't disclose what you're using, I think it should not be a problem. It's just a tool, right? Because you are must if it is not your proprietary tool, if you're using market, which tools you're using and you can recommend to explore people whoever is listening.
So when it comes to metadata, of course, the basic is a data catalog. Huh?
Yeah.
So there are many data catalogs from which are ranked by Gartner in the top right corner.
Mm,
And the issue with data catalog is that every data catalog has some advantages, but also some disadvantages.
mm,
So in my comparison, what I have done between all this different technologies is that there's no golden system which you say, oh, that's the best one. Huh?
mm,
And as we are on a worldwide company, we have, let's say, from the main data catalog providers, you find the most one at Bosch. Huh? So we have a couple of different technologies for data cataloging, and so you cannot say that's this one is the best one, or this one is not good. Yeah. So that's one important point. So yeah, so you it's not this much important which technology you use.
mm,
I think it's more important your data governance approach, and how you maintain the data. So I think that the processes above the data catalog are much more important than the underlying technology. And coming also to technology, when we talk about data modeling,
mm,
so especially with semantic data modeling, there are not so many tools around. And with this semantic data model, we have the problem that there's no standard. Yeah? So if you have a data catalog, then you can very easily via the APIs transfer the data from one data catalog and to migrate it to another technology. But if you think about data modeling, many vendors they have their own modeling standard, and you cannot transfer your data models from one application to another. And so we at Bosch, we decided that for us, it's essential to set on open standards, huh? Because we want to be independent from any technology, because technologies are evolving. Huh? So you don't know what will come next. Huh? So it's like this open data formats they have established because they are vendor independent, and also in the same way we think our semantic data models, they need to be independent from any vendor, because we put in there all our business knowledge. Huh? And if our business knowledge is locked in a
Mhm.
system owned by a vendor, we are very dependent. Huh? So when you're looking for technology for your ontologies and semantic models, then I highly recommend put an eye on if this technology is using open standards like RDF and OWL and all the stuff.
Okay, my last question, but not the least, and it is one of the most, I would say, controversial question I ask everyone nowadays.
Hmm?
Because agentic AI here is here, and as you mentioned that what is happening under the hood, you must know. Because once agentic AI will come, 80% of the work will be automated, and until unless you are not good into that domain, you won't know what is happening, and
Yes.
transparency will become a challenge for you. My question, do you think in coming era in data and AI, resources has to be data background resources, not like XYZ? Why it failed last time? Because in IT, when data become IT, non-data savvy people jumped into it and start managing data governance. So I'm not saying bad about those people. I was just saying that, yeah,
Hmm?
it was as data was not very important like a decade back, then anybody can and they simply start maintaining data. I think that is the biggest reason centralized approach failed. Otherwise, there is nothing wrong in centralized approach. So what do you think? Is it important to have people at a key position with a pure data background, or we can still survive without that?
I think this is very important to still have people with this data background. Huh? So a friend of mine, he did an apprenticeship in production, and during his apprenticeship, he had to sort the metal by hand. Huh? And so to get a feeling how hard the metal can be, and
Yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
to how to handle the heat and all the stuff. Huh? And later on, he's using CNC machines. Huh? But to get an understanding how to program and how to configure those CNC machines, he needs to have understanding of handling this material by hand, because otherwise he would increase the speed to a too much to a too high value, and then it will crash, and the system will break. Huh? So yes, I think we still need data experts which still have knowledge about the data and data modeling, and also the technologies behind.
Yeah, you are
That's
right.
my
So
point of view.
you are right. If you want to be called as a Dracula, you have to taste the blood, right? Otherwise, you
Yes.
cannot call yourself as a Dracula, right? So again, Andreas, it was a great session with you. It was pleasure. I think it was one of the great sessions on metadata. I think I have another good friend of mine, Daniel London. He is also very good in metadata. Maybe we can have a triangular podcast and we share
Yes.
ideas about this one. So I think he's sitting far away, somewhere France or Switzerland, somewhere. We can have that session and share our knowledges.
Yeah, that would be great. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
Awesome.
you for your invitation. It was a
No,
great conversation.
yeah, it was pleasure. You shared a lot, and I learned again a lot. I as I mentioned, I'm getting into love into data more and more. The more I go into information data modeling. Thank you. Have a nice day, and hope we can have another session, maybe a couple of quarters from here.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. Take care. Bye bye.
You
Bye bye.